Hello and welcome to today's live stream and Leadership Insights series. Today's guest is Ian Silvester, General Manager of EKM Global. We're really excited you're joining us today for the live stream event. If you have any questions, comments throughout the event, feel free to pop them in the chat window. And make sure that you follow the MPSA on LinkedIn, our new YouTube channel, and check out our ebook series, all with the links referenced here. My name is Sarah Henderson. I'm a volunteer with the MPSA Education Committee, and the MPSA is a nonprofit organization that provides community education, research, and best practices to help all of us across the globe connect in a way that brings forth the best in our industry. There are a lot of member benefits if you're not a member yet of the MPSA. This live stream, our education events and ebooks are a big part of what the MPSA produces to help educate and bring the community together. We also have our Leadership Circle Awards, recognizing our most recently award winners today, Clover Imaging Group and Milner Inc. Very excited to recognize a leading remanufacturer and a leading US-based dealer. But throughout the MPSA, we are providing networking opportunities and just connecting people across the channel from dealers, providers, end users, and across the globe. If you're interested in joining, the MPSA is a very affordable membership for you or your organization, and you can get more information on the MPSA website and sign up for a membership. If you're not a member, you should sign up today. Really excited to continue with our 2026 Leadership Insights interview. Today, joining us from across the pond from EKM Global is Ian Silvester. Welcome to today's live stream, Ian. We're really excited to connect with you and learn more about you and EKM. So I'm going to get started. If you could just introduce yourself, your role within your organization, and tell us about, if people are like, EKM, what, who, right? Tell us about what EKM Global does. And for a lot of our partners here in the United States, what brand names or what organizations they may recognize EKM as being part of.
Thank you, Sarah. Hello, everybody. My name is Ian Silvester. As Sarah said, I'm the General Manager of EKM Global. I've been in IT for probably 40 plus years. 25, 30 years of that in the dealer channel, looking at managed print services. So as part of EKM, I've been here 25 years. I had a little break in the middle to deliver MPS monitoring and services for one of the largest independent MPS dealers in Europe. So here at EKM, we provide a fully hosted MPS system for resellers, customers, manufacturers. We support over 115 countries around the globe. Last count, it was 119. It does go up and down a little bit. We have a data collection agent, which provides data input into our systems that allows resellers to provide automation simply, efficiently. And we work very closely with all of our partners, whether they're a dealer or manufacturer, or even some customers as well. So we have direct dealers that we talk to directly. And we also have distribution. So in the US, you've probably heard of Predictive Insight, run by Ed McLaughlin and Sean Cashmark. I'm sure most of you have heard of Ed McLaughlin. And they are our sole distributor in North America, so US and Canada. We also have some distribution, some in Europe, some in Australia as well. Now, I'm a techie at heart. I started my career as a mainframe assembler programmer all those years ago. So if anybody wants to talk techie, please get in touch. I'm happy to talk techie all day long. And if you want to talk about our software, our data collection agent, which is called EKM Insight, and the way it can help you automate, please get in touch as well. I can talk about that all day as well.
So how do you've already touched on this a little bit, talking about how you go to market, who your distribution partners are and the brand names people recognize. But how does your organization generally operate in the MPS landscape? So what has been your relationship or participation in the MPSA? I know EKM obviously is a member of the MPSA, but what brought you guys into the MPSA, and what has been your involvement and your organization's involvement with that? And And if somebody watching does not know Ed from Predictive Insight, I think and especially here in the U.S. market, they've probably been living under a rock. But
yeah, yeah. So initially we came to the MPSA because we wanted to get the certification. We saw obviously the managed print certified solutions, which is the old CompTIA managed print. We looked at that as something that would be really good for us, primarily within the US marketplace, as well as around Europe and the rest of the world. And then it came up for people looking to join the board. And I really wanted to give back to the MPS community. We talk to people all over the globe on a daily basis. I wanted to get more involved, share some of the knowledge that we get from talking to our customers and resellers all over the world. So
if you had to think about, okay, you were like, hey, I want to get involved. I'm going to join the board of directors. Do me a favor and because I've served 3 terms on the board of directors, and the MPSA is just part of my ecosystem. Regardless of where I go, the MPSA is kind of like my connector across the industry. So I've been involved for quite some time. In fact, I look backwards and I helped work on the original framework for the MPS Trust Mark when it was a CompTIA product, and I was so thrilled when our current board, our board leadership said, hey, we're going to take this over. This is very important to have standards, to have rigor, and as people look at this business model and really enforce those important things. So it's exciting to have new people come into the board and fresh perspectives on the board. So I want to thank you for stepping forward for board service. But if you were going to make a commercial today, there could be somebody watching this who's like, oh, I wonder what's involved with being on the board of directors with the MPSA. What would you tell them about that experience that you've had so far?
I would tell them it's a very fulfilling experience, meeting with industry leaders. I feel very humbled to be on the board, if I'm honest, Sarah. The board has got years and years and years of experience of MPS, and to be part of that and to talk to them about their experiences and moving forward is amazing. I think helping shape the direction of the MPSA, looking at how we can engage with resellers and the communities around the globe, looking at the certification, which I think is a very good certification to have. It's completely independent. It gives you a logo. People know that you've put work in to get that certification as well, and it's slightly different. It's a managed print certification as opposed to some of the security certifications you see out there around the ISO and the SOC 2 and the NIST and the NIS and all these various certifications that are becoming incredibly important to have now for all companies. So it's also very useful to have access to all the marketing that's available from MPSA, to participate in things like this and see the live streams and to share the blog posts as well. I just think it's a very rounded community to be part of. And I think as we grow it outside of the US, because predominantly it's a US community, and I know there is quite a handful of non-US dealers, and it's growing. I think it will actually grow into a worldwide community, which I think will be an incredibly good thing.
Yes, I forgot to mention today we're forging quite the time zone difference. I'm working from my company's office in Beaverton, Oregon this morning. So we are across some serious time zone differences. So it's great to connect with you. But I think it's something as we build the community out, we'll continue to be more creative. We have another board member from Australia, or a couple board members and education members in Australia. So oftentimes we're meeting late in the afternoon, but very early in the morning for them. But they're really always great conversations, and just bringing the community closer together across the globe, I think has been a great thing to observe as the MPSA has grown. From your perspective, what is the most significant way your organization is making a difference in terms of a positive impact in the broader MPSA community? Talk a little bit about you can talk a little bit about your product, but what are the ways that you feel EKM is just really leading? What are some things that it could be you personally or your organization is bringing to bear to help move the MPS business model in the community forward?
I think from our point of view, we've been around for 26 years, EKM Global, and some of our underlying technologies and thinking about those technologies is now probably prevalent in all of the data collection agents you see. So we're really keen to listen to all of our customers, resellers, dealers, manufacturers, and see where they want to go, and to adapt to that, and to make our software always forward-looking, to embrace all the new technologies where possible, but also just to make small changes that can improve people's quality of life. And we work especially well with larger resellers. For instance, if there is a task that you're repeating 500 times a day and you can reduce that from 4 to 2 clicks, you've made a big saving in time. So we do work very closely with people like that. The other thing we do is pride ourselves on our support. Most of my team in support have been in MPS for 15 plus years. I've been using the software probably for 10 to 15 years onwards. And so we very much pride ourselves on our support, our ability to support our customer base. And I think that's echoed by Predictive Insight as well. If you are a North American customer and you are using Predictive Insight with our software, the support you'll be getting out of them is really, really good. And if they can't fix it, they log it with us. We'll pick it up in the US morning, time zone differences again. And so by the time the US has woken up, hopefully we'll have resolved any issues, and it works really, really well.
Yeah, so it's almost an around-the-clock support model.
Yeah, I just need a few people in Australia and we'll be sorted.
We'll have to hit up Mitch Philby on that one. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, I mean that sounds excellent. And just kind of blowing this up a little bit, as an industry, we've obviously are evolving and changing, but can you describe a time when your organization, when EKM Global has reacted from a major industry shift? What have you as a leader, or what have you as an organization learned from some of the changes or just trends that are out there, and how have you guys reacted to that?
I think, Sarah, the major trend isn't so much an industry shift, but a global shift when COVID came in, obviously. So when COVID happened, we basically stopped the office. We moved to 100% home working, and we've never stopped. We've continued that on. So all of our employees are based out of home, and the benefits of that is that we've been able to recruit people anywhere. So we can recruit the best people, regardless of where they are. Now, this works well for us because we also talk all over the world, and people working from home generally can be a little bit more flexible in their working hours. So we can be up early in the morning for Australia or Asia, and we can be here slightly later at night for the US and things like that. So that works really well. Downsides of that, obviously, is security. Obviously, you're not in a secure office, so we've had to really improve our security and our security stance. We can talk about that all day forward, but we've got accreditations. We have what we call a trust center that anybody can go and see, and they can see all of our accreditations and certifications and how we protect our environment as well. The other shifts that we're seeing, not quite so big as COVID, are things like the manufacturers mergers. HP, Samsung, Xerox, Lexmark, and we this is a bit techie now, by the way, but we have to adapt when they do that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So if you look
at a little bit more about that, because people don't always understand what goes into what you do.
Yeah. So right now, obviously Xerox have acquired Lexmark, and they're making changes in the Lexmark firmwares, and now the Lexmark machines have got partial Xerox meters in them. We have to adapt quickly to that. So anybody that has upgraded to the latest firmware might see the Lexmark suddenly thinking they're Xeroxes. So that will be resolved. And so that's the kind of thing we have to do as manufacturers change. HP, Samsung was exactly the same. They blended some parts of Samsung to some parts of HP, and you have to adapt your software to deal with that. And it's not just us; all of the people out there that are writing this type of software will do that, including the manufacturers, I would say. So it is the shift where we have to constantly look at what the manufacturers are doing and how they're adapting their internal workings of their machines, so we can make sure that data is passed consistently to our partners.
Well, it keeps us all on our toes. You don't want to get too comfortable, right?
Oh, I know. It'd be great. It's always good to be busy. Never good to be not busy.
Well, and I think it's great to get techie because if we rewind, you've been doing this for 26 years, but it doesn't feel like 26. I've been in the US North American channel for a little over 20 years, and I feel like, oh, that was just last year when it was a bit ago. When we think about kind of the early days of the development of this category product of data collection agent softwares, I think there was a lot of, oh, it's just magic, but there's a lot of work that goes into what your organization and what your team has to do,
Yeah.
because you're trying to read everything, and that's not pixie dust.
I wish it was. No, it is. It is slightly difficult. When I started doing this, my background was in things like servers and desktops and rollouts and building data centers and things like that. And that's very structured. Whereas printers are like little manufacturing plants. They've got computers in them. They've got actual parts that move and ink and everything.
Mhm.
And they're not as manageable as, say, a server. The working standards aren't as defined. There's words like may in the IEEE working standards and things like this. So first thing you have to do with the printer is actually ask it, do you believe what it's telling you? Because sometimes they're not as good as they should be. They're certainly not as, and I do apologize to any manufacturers here, but they're certainly not as manageable as, say, servers or desktops or laptops or even switches and hubs.
Right.
Some are, but as general, you've always got to adapt for the different manufacturers. And I think that's one of the key things that we do. And I'll also say our competition will do that as well, because otherwise the systems wouldn't work as well as they do.
So, reflecting on our conversation, what do you think is the biggest opportunity for that next level of innovation? I also think innovation comes from collaboration, and I think that's the heart of what we do at the MPSA is bringing people together in a non-competitive environment, where we just collaborate. So when you think about, okay, and I'm not asking you to share any secrets by any means, but if you look at the broader ecosystem of what we do as print globally, what do you see as an opportunity for innovation and collaboration within the managed print community, either that you're personally watching or that your organization is looking at?
So we're looking at quite a few things around this, Sarah, to be honest. I'd love to see more manufacturer consistency. And I think that will become even more important as they start to integrate the AI into their systems that are going to give you predictive analysis on device failures and things like that. Things like if they had open interfaces where we could read all that information into a single point and normalize it for everybody, that would be a very good, consistent thing to do across the whole architectures. Security is also key. I have to mention
Yes.
security.
Yeah.
AI. I mean, if I don't know if you noticed, but almost every day you have to update your AI at your browser. Patches are coming out fast and furious to deal with the AI. So, collaboration on what and how you can secure your infrastructures is going to be key as well. And there's going to be innovation. I mean, the AI and the hackers are innovating. We need to innovate to stop what they're doing as well. But I think the main thing we want is the automation and data analysis. So collaboration between what dealers want, what ERPs, CRMs, and people like ourselves are doing is very key. If we can make a cohesive, simple, effective way to deliver MPS, whereas at the moment, a little bit is it piece. You've got your ERP, you've got your monitoring, you've got a CRM. Make those work together. And that will give you huge amounts of efficiency. And then use your data. So using your data and using it productively, I think, is very, very key, and securely, of course, as well.
Well, you're speaking directly to my mission is here with my
Yes.
organization is the data, is the consistency of the data, is how do we do more with the data? So you're speaking
Yeah.
right to my big punch list and wish list as we look at how do we as a dealer. And it's interesting because, I know we've met before and talked before, but sometimes I stop and go, okay, I've had a really, really excellent opportunity to sit in different seats and perspectives within the industry, right?
Yeah.
And so coming over to the dealer side is also, I've supported dealers for the majority of my career. And now I sit and go, okay, I'm using this in a different way. So
It is an
I
eye
would
opener,
say,
isn't it?
yes, absolutely. And so I would say when you're talking about, hey, this is how we're looking at things at EKM, I think it's that voice of the customer that's so important that I think we as organizations, if you're on the other side, if you're on the dealer channel support side, you go, hey, we're talking to our customers. But I do, kind of sitting in that seat, it was like, okay, I'm looking at this differently
Yeah.
because I have to manage it from a different perspective. And it's been a big eye opener for me in a good way, because I like to be challenged. And I think we've met before. I think you love a good challenge too. So if you had to think, okay, it's crazy to think we're already at the midpoint of 2026. Okay. So if you think, okay, what is a challenge that I would love to take off of? Everybody in my team jokes because I'm always walking around with one of these small notepads. I usually fill it up within a couple of days, and then it goes into more of my project timeline log, right? But I'm a writer. I can't type and talk at the same time. So that's probably my generation. But if you had to think, okay, the to-do list at EKM, what do you see as the biggest opportunity to address that within what y'all are doing?
I have a large to-do list. I have one of these. I don't know if you can see it on this camera, but it's an electronic
Ooh,
notepad. So
that
all my
speaks to your techie nature there, Ian.
yeah,
You're
all my
you're
notes are
cool.
scribbled down. So we're working on automations, ERPs,
Mhm.
manufacturers, CRMs, all of those automations we're working on. So that's where our focus is. Speed of development as well as the world adapts and everything's quicker. We need to work quicker as well. We're also working in the background, obviously, with AI carefully. Some things I think AI is fantastic for. Other things you do need to be careful with as well. Um,
Mhm.
but certainly data usage is something ones we're looking at as well. I mean, you'll have to talk to me later. I've got a 40, 50 plus slide deck on data and how to use it, because obviously I spent 8 years with a dealer delivering, I think, what you're delivering now. And I've got a whole breadth of ideas, all with little code names on them as well. So
So if our audience today is like, okay, Ian, I really want to get my geek on data, it sounds like you're willing to communicate and collaborate with folks that want to learn in that area. That if you've offered it to me, I appreciate that. But
I'll
it
offer
might
it
be
to
it might
anybody.
be a
Yeah, I
great.
love to talk about it.
Yeah, well, it also might be a great follow-up and something we can do with the MPSA as we look at best practices or additional opportunities for education, because I do think it's one of those things that go, oh yeah, okay, that's over there. But no, it's in everything we do. It's at the
It
epicenter of
is.
everything.
We
Just
my last company, we called the team the DNA team, because it was at the heart of
I'm
everything we
putting that
did.
on my thing, okay?
Yeah, we
Because
we we gathered the information and then we pushed it out to the organization, whether it was meters or data analysis or consumables or servicing. We're at the heart of everything we did, and we put the data and the software at the heart of the tenders as well. We spend a lot of time responding to tenders, presenting to customers, this is how it works, this is what it deliver, this is how secure it is, this is how to get through security. And we put this into huge amounts of airlines, banks, police, palaces, should we say.
secure. Ooh, I think that speaks to. We
Yeah.
were joking a little bit earlier before we went live, that I was teasing Ian a little bit that okay, EKM Global kind of makes me feel like you could be a secret agent of the MPSA world. So that is now your new honorary title. Ian is Secret Agent of Managed Print Services. I dub thee
Thank
from the
you.
west coast of the United States today. Sorry, when I'm on this early with just a little bit of coffee, I get a little punchy. So I appreciate you laughing with me on that one. So if you wanted to leave our attending audience today with one or two key messages, because maybe this is the first time people are meeting you here today on the live stream, what would you want to leave with our attending audience today about you about EKM Global, or just about where you see the industry going? What would you like to leave us with today, Ian?
I've got three things actually, Sarah. I saw this question before and I wrote
I
three
will
things
allow
down.
it. Okay,
Thank you.
since you're now the secret agent of the MPSA, we
And,
will allow three.
I'm going to answer them as a techie because I am basically a techie at heart, but I always think you need to be curious and inquisitive and open to new ideas and technologies, but you do need to evaluate those from a business benefit and where they could be used effectively. So, you don't want to think, oh, this is amazing, let's go down this rabbit hole, and 2 weeks later you've had a great time, but it's not delivered anything to your business. You do need to be
Mhm.
curious and inquisitive about everything. I also personally think that honesty and integrity is absolutely key. You need to be honest and have integrity in business. We are a techie company. We will tell it as honest as possible. We'll say that machine won't work properly. These have issues. That system's really good. Ours will do this really well. We are incredibly honest about everything, in my opinion. And my last thing is that I think you need to plan for the future. You always need to plan for the future. You need to bring on young people into the business. MPS is, no offense to anybody, it's quite an old business. We've all got the knowledge. A lot of people have been in it for many, many years. We all love it with an amazing passion. My wife tells me off because I always look at copiers to see who's maintaining them and see if it's one of our resellers. But we
I
need to
do the
bring on,
same thing
I know
everywhere
it's
I go.
terrible. So we need to bring in young people and grow them. But we also, I always think you need to remember the lessons of the past. Otherwise, you'll keep making those same mistakes over and over again. And live in the present. There's no planning for the future, remembering the past, but not living right now when you need to bring new development on, win new customers, help customers grow, provide support when you need it as well.
I think that was an excellent three things. It's just been wonderful to get to know you better today, and I hope that our attending audience, again, if you have questions for Ian or you want to connect with him after the live stream today, please reach out via the live chat. And as always, we appreciate everybody participating, attending in these Leadership Insight series. If you're interested in participating or you have a suggestion for a future guest, please reach out to the Education Committee. And it's been my pleasure to spend time with you today, Ian. Is there anything you would like to add before we close out today's interview?
No, it's been a pleasure talking to you, Sarah, and thank you very much for the opportunity to have a chat with you.
Okay. And we will see everybody next month as well. Well, we look forward to continuing this series. And again, if you're not a member yet of the MPSA, check us out. It's easy to join. It's an excellent community to be part of. And you can hang out with techie nerds like Ian and I.
Look forward to it.
Thank you.
Thank you.